Dawn clears the harbor, and the Longline crew starts a halibut run with quiet, practiced focus. Steel checks begin early, because failure under tension turns routine into injury in seconds. Bait lines open, and every circle hook receives visible bait for a long soak near bottom. Leaders are staged in order, preventing tangles that can whip back across boots. Paper notes and analog gauges guide the set, keeping decisions grounded in experience offshore. Swell builds slightly, and the stern becomes a working edge where timing matters most. The set begins, and the first baited hook slips away, starting a long chain of patience.
Hook spacing stays consistent because speed without order creates snapback danger on deck.
Floats and markers drop last, so recovery stays fast if weather changes suddenly. With the set finished, deck noise drops, and waiting becomes part of the job.
Underwater gear drifts near bottom, and bait hangs still without any animals in view.
The vessel turns back toward the waypoint, aligning approach so the line comes aboard clean.
Gloves grab the buoy line, and recovery begins with hand signals over engine noise. The hauler warms under load, because hesitation can turn into injury when tension surges. Early leaders rise empty, proving the ocean can erase perfect plans without warning.
Subtle tugs travel up the main line, hinting that something has tested the bait below.
Eyes track every jerk and slack, because the first real hit decides the day.
One more empty hook clears, and then tension spikes hard enough to change voices on deck.
On the seafloor, a giant halibut glides in low, lining up for a single decisive bite. The bite lands, and the circle hook rotates cleanly into the jaw corner as sand lifts. On the bottom, a wide shadow slides in, and a circle hook finds the halibut's jaw corner.
The surface tightens beside the hull, signaling a flat body circling under rising drag.
Underwater, the hooked halibut rolls once, and the leader stays straight from mouth to line. Back on deck, the mainline tone drops, and the crew reads the pull as halibut weight. A broad body rolls near the surface, and foam bursts against the hull as the halibut surges. The rail becomes a control point, and every step stays measured to avoid a sudden sweep from the fish. The halibut comes tight to the hull, and the crew transitions from pulling power to lifting control.
Boots brace wide as the leader comes tight, and the flat body rises inch by inch.
On deck, the halibut flops violently, and the crew steps back before pinning safely.
One last surface roll sends spray across the rail, and the halibut's weight finally begins to give.
A tail rope seats, gloves tighten, and the crew steers the fish onto steel without rushing.
With the fish pinned safely, the circle hook comes free from the jaw corner in one clean motion.
Down on sand, another halibut commits fast, and the circle hook locks into the jaw corner.
The main line hums like a wire, translating panic into measurable force at the hauler.
A second peak erupts, and the halibut hammers the surface, throwing sheets of water across steel.
Two men coordinate the sling, because a flat giant can surge sideways with sudden force.
Ice goes in fast, and the halibut is stowed flat, preserving quality before the next fish comes up.
On the bottom, bait hangs still again, and another halibut waits just outside frame.
The hook sets once more, and the leader stays straight from mouth to main line under pull.
The third peak breaks on deck, and the halibut flails with raw weight that demands distance.
Pliers back the hook out cleanly, and the fish is slid flat toward ice without spectacle.
Another baited hook drifts near sand, and a broad shadow slides in low to inspect it. The bite lands, and the circle hook rotates into the jaw corner as sand erupts behind it.
At the rail, the leader comes tight, and the fish drags like a door against the water. The hauler slows, because steady pressure keeps the leader straight and prevents a roll-off.
Underwater, the hooked halibut climbs, and the circle hook stays locked in the jaw corner.
The fourth peak erupts at the surface, and the halibut slaps water hard enough to shake the rail. After the slap, the crew draws it flat, guiding the lift sling into position without rushing. A lift line takes weight, and the halibut slides onto the deck, where control replaces brute force.
Hands pin the head and tail, and the leader is cleared so the next hook rises safely. Pliers back the circle hook out, and the fish is slid toward ice before heat can soften flesh.
The line keeps coming, and another leader jerks hard, signaling a fresh fight under the hull. The fifth peak hits on deck, and the halibut flops violently, turning steel into a moving hazard. Cold seawater clears the deck, and the hook is removed cleanly before icing begins. Empty hooks rise again, reminding the crew that longline work is mostly waiting between bursts. The hold opens, and whole halibut are packed in ice, locking texture before the run home. Coils are stacked and clipped, because loose leaders become whips when the vessel rolls.
Faces show fatigue, yet safety stays sharp as gloves check knots, drains, and guards. The bow turns toward port lights, and the wake replaces conflict with steady industrial motion.
Dock structures appear tight in frame, and lines are readied for a clean approach.
Handwritten counts conferred the haul, and ice storage is checked before unloading starts.
Cheers break out beside stacked halibut, marking hard work with relief as the deck finally calms.
At the dock, cold air and diesel mix as the first iced halibut moves from hold to shore. Forklifts take over, and the catch transitions from sea work to warehouse discipline.
In receiving, workers verify temperature by routine, keeping paperwork unreadable and unbranded.
Clean tables and drains are staged first, because halibut yield depends on controlled handling. The first whole fish is positioned, showing broad, flat shape before any cuts begin.
A clean first cut opens the line, keeping motion efficient and surfaces rinsed immediately.
The first fillet lifts free, revealing thick, white flesh that matches halibut, not any other species.
Skin is separated cleanly, and the zealed is squared into consistent blocks for portion lines. A trimming pass removes dark edges, keeping the final product bright and uniform.
Portions are weighed by hand, avoiding branded screens and keeping labels unreadable.
A conveyor takes over, and uniform cuts keep spacing tight without compromising cleanliness. Vacuum packs seal with a soft snap, locking freshness without showing any marketing or codes. A quick inspection finds weak seams, because one leak can ruin a full pallet in transit.
Glazing sets lightly over frozen surfaces, reducing dehydration during long storage and travel.
Plain cartons close fast, and tape seals the shiftel's work without any visible branding. Pallets stack tight with airflow gaps, balancing stability and freezer circulation for every case. Freezer doors open briefly, and vapor spills out as pallets roll into deep storage. Dispatch staging begins, and workers pull pallets forward by routine rather reorganization than scanning screens. A pre-chilled trailer receives the load, and doors close quickly to protect temperature. Seals are checked by hand, and the cold chain shifts from factory rhythm to road timing.
All right, keep it coming. All clear, you're good to go.
Reefer air circulates across pallets, holding frost while vibration tests every wrap and corner. At a cold dock, doors crack open briefly, and workers move fast to limit warm air. Pallets enter a colder room, and the chain holds firm without visible screens or labels. One case is pulled for service, transitioning frozen inventory into a kitchen-ready portion. In a plain kitchen, a sealed portion thaws slowly, preventing purge and preserving firm flakes. A sharp knife trims clean edges, keeping portions even for predictable sear and plating.
Salt and oil go on lightly, letting halibut stay clean and sweet under heat. The pan hisses, and the first side turns golden while the center stays thick and white. A quick flip finishes the surface, and the portion rests to stabilize moisture and texture.
Simple sides are plated, keeping attention on the clean, white halibut portion at center.
At a quiet table, an American diner cuts the fish, revealing firm, white flakes and clean aroma.
The first bite lands, and the meal feels earned by steel, ice, and careful handling. Another plate arrives, showing consistent portioning that started on stainless tables near the docks.
Fork and knife move steadily, and conversation stays low, matching the film's grounded tone.
A close cut shows clean white flakes and a mild sheen, evidence of proper sear and rest.
That was truly exceptional. The lamb especially.
Routine continues beyond one catch, turning ocean risk into steady supply and simple dinners.
The story ends quietly with clean place settings, while the sea remains unseen and indifferent.
Clean down begins, because tomorrow's line depends on surfaces that leave no residue or odor. Floors dry and tools hang, closing the loop from haul tension to controlled industrial routine. Cold storage remains still, and sealed cases sit unmarked, waiting for the next dispatch call.
A plain manifest stays unreadable, but the chain is clear in motion, cold, sealed, and fast. The restaurant table clears, and ordinary light returns, leaving only work and memory behind.
Somewhere offshore, the grounds stay quiet again, holding the same risk for the next crew.
The film closes on calm emptiness, a reminder that the ocean's scale always outlasts one haul.